Have you ever walked into a space and felt the energy shift? The laughter dies down, the chatter ceases, and a curious, heavy silence descends. It's not your imagination. That momentary hush isn't a sign of personal failing. It is the immediate, nonverbal recognition of a seal of destiny you carry. Listen closely to that silence. This isn't vanity, and it's certainly not paranoia. It's the world acknowledging a power it doesn't understand. Your spirit carries a frequency that naturally organizes chaos, and when you arrive, the background noise is forced to retreat. When the noise stops, clarity and the truth about everything in that room gets a chance to surface. This message is your confirmation, explaining why your light bothers some, how to stop apologizing for it, and how to begin walking in the quiet, undeniable authority you were born for. The lamp in the dusty room consider your life as a brilliant lamp switched on in a perpetually dark, dusty room. No one is truly upset with the lamp itself, but they are profoundly disturbed by what the light immediately reveals. That sudden, piercing illumination makes the dust particles visible, floating and dancing in the air, little truths that were always present, but comfortably ignored. It shines into forgotten corners, exposing old cobwebs, settled messes, and the things that have been left undone. This is precisely why certain faces harden, why eyes shift uncomfortably, and why some smiles freeze the moment you appear. Your presence is not an accusation. It is a revelation. It does not condemn. It simply shows what is. You were never called to dim your internal light so that others could continue to sleepwalk through their days. It's time to internalize this truth, allowing your nervous system to be calm in the face of others' discomfort. Take a deep, settling breath right now, and as you slowly exhale, declare this over your life. I'm not a problem. I'm a signal. Though your immediate environment or the people in your life may lack the vocabulary to define what they are sensing, the divine has labeled you. You are marked for bringing clarity where confusion has been comfortable. You are a blueprint for order where chaos has been collecting rent. You are an agent of mercy where bitterness has erected a fortress. When people sense this powerful, unsettling mark, their reactions will be starkly polarized. A few will feel an immediate, magnetic pull, drawing close to your light for warmth, guidance, and safety. But many, out of fear or sheer reluctance to change, will squint, recoil, and take a defensive step back. Regardless of their reaction, the truth remains. The lamp continues to shine. You must make a solemn commitment today. Do not apologize for illumination. Do not negotiate your shine. Place your hand over your heart now and whisper this declaration, so your very bones hear the conviction. I'm not a problem. I'm a signal. If this resonates deep within your spirit, take a moment to affirm it now. I am marked, and I won't hide. The frequency of the chosen before you speak a single word. Fill the room and let your peace precede you. Your spirit emits a powerful, subtle, yet undeniable frequency. Much like a tuning fork struck in a quiet space, you vibrate at the frequency of truth, and everything that is out of alignment, everything that is dissonant or counterfeit, immediately begins to buzz back in agitation. This powerful vibration is not an act of aggression. It is pure revelation. The discomfort you witness around you is exposure, not a personal offense taken against you. People are rarely upset by your sound itself. They are startled by what your steady, true note reveals about their own off-key notes, their own unaddressed disharmony. Imagine, for a moment, a vial of exquisite, rare oil cracked open in a small, closed space. Instantly, the very composition of the air changes. Some people will inhale deeply, recognizing and celebrating the arrival of something beautiful and pure. Others will wince and instinctively pull away because that purity stings and makes a familiar counterfeit feel uncomfortable. The crucial thing to notice is this: no one can ignore the fragrance. You didn't give a speech. You didn't put on a performance. You simply carried what you carry. Light works exactly the same way. The moment you enter, your light simply is, and it reveals. Light does not point fingers or level accusations. It simply shows the reality. And revelation always demands a choice: to clean or to conceal, to open the windows or to close the curtains, to surrender to the truth or to fight it. This is why some faces instinctively harden when you enter a room, while others immediately soften. The difference in their reaction has absolutely nothing to do with your inherent worth. It reflects solely on their willingness to confront their own internal world. You are simply made to be light. Light does not pause to ask permission to shine. A lighthouse does not send an apology to the darkness. It stands, it serves, it stays, You are called to walk in like a lighthouse, a steady beam, a deep, unshakable base, and an utterly steady soul. Certain ships in the darkness will immediately course-correct their trajectory toward the safety and clarity your light provides. Other ships will turn sharply away because they know that safety requires immediate surrender and a change of direction they are not yet ready for. In either scenario, the lighthouse does not shrink its beam to protect their egos. It shines steadfastly to preserve lives. You must accept, without an ounce of bitterness, that you will be profoundly misunderstood by those who desperately prefer the familiar fog to the demanding clarity you bring. The cleansing sting, remember the powerful, temporary sting of an antiseptic being applied to an open wound. It hurts sharply for a brief moment, but that sting is irrefutable proof that the cleansing process has begun, and true healing can now start. Your presence can often feel exactly like that to people. A brief, burning sensation that confirms a cleansing, a necessary spiritual surgery, is underway. Do not, ever, mistake that involuntary flinch for genuine hatred. Sometimes, it is actually the profound sound of hope waking up under years of protective scar tissue. Breathe deeply. Enter rooms with purpose, but slowly. Let your undeniable inner peace precede your words. Plant your shoulders where they belong, back straight. Not bow down, silently claim your space in the room. Declare with your very posture, I stand as light. When you feel the tension in the atmosphere pressing in on you, you must lower your voice. But never, ever lower your self-value. Pace your breath, make it slow and steady, and watch as the entire room instinctively takes its cue from your calm. You are not responsible for the chaotic weather of their internal world, but you are wholly accountable for the unshakable climate of your own spirit. Keep your inner barometer firmly set to calm, to clarity, and to uncompromised truth. You must stop the habit of over-apologizing for simply being a whole, integrated person. Stop shrinking and contorting yourself to make other people's turbulence feel comfortable. If a delicate glass rattles violently when a heavy train passes by, the fundamental problem isn't the glass itself. The powerful track beneath it is simply alive and in motion. You are that track. Your movement announces itself undeniably. Train your nervous system right now to deliberately interpret others' reactions as a confirmation of your power rather than a condemnation of your character. Feel that powerful frequency in your chest, steady, slow, and regal. When gossip begins to circle and try to engage you, let excellence be your only answer, proven by the fruit of your hands. When you see eyes roll and agendas trying to distract you, let your focus work write an entirely different headline. When the silence becomes noticeably heavy, simply offer a gentle smile rooted in mercy. The room is not arguing with you. It is profoundly negotiating with the light you carry. You do not need to win arguments or score points. The light already won. Your sole assignment is to remain steady, present, and unshakable, refining the scent of authority as you stand your ground and remain. It's vital to continuously refine your presence, the scent you carry. Let gratitude be your foundational bass note, which effectively disarms all envy. Let integrity be the deep heart note, which immediately silences all suspicion. Let wisdom be the bright top note, which allows you to choose impeccable timing. Share less information when the curiosity around you is purely carnal or gossipy. Share exponentially more when you sense a true, genuine hunger for truth. And if you sense hostility or resistance, your response must never be to escalate. Instead, you must elevate. Lift the atmosphere around you with a single, powerful sentence that governs the space without striving or force. Whisper it in your spirit, peace, be still here. Then, continue with your assignment and your mission as if the decree has already completely worked. This is the secret. True authority is often recognized and obeyed by the spirit world, long before it is ever admitted or acknowledged by people. Place your hand over your chest one final time, and without any theatrical flourish, completely settle your identity. I'm not a problem. I'm a signal. Signals are designed for navigation and direction, not for personal validation. Ships don't waste time arguing with the lighthouse. They decide what to do next. Your job is simply to keep shining, keep breathing, keep walking with quiet purpose. And just when the room, or your detractors, think they have learned your rhythm and labeled you, something truly startling will inevitably happen. The very person who seemed the most offended by your light will quietly circle back. They will come with a question they swore they'd never ask, a confession they never meant to make, or an opening they vowed they would never give. When that door finally cracks open, what you release next into that space will change everything for them. Stop picking up the daggers with fingerprints all over them and blaming yourself for the injury. What moves against you in the spirit rarely knows your personal name. What moves against you is focused on recognizing and fighting your assignment. This resistance is not personal. It is purely spiritual. Picture a divine courtroom where the immediate case looks like you versus a hostile them. But the actual trial is between conviction versus compromise. Between lucid, clear purpose and sleepy, passive living. You walk into the room carrying clean currents of truth, consistency, and an active prayer life, and every counterfeit bill being passed around immediately begins to panic. People who have absolutely no spiritual language for your anointing. At your peace will borrow the only vocabulary they know: sarcasm, avoidance, whispers, and passive aggression. They are not defining you. They are desperately negotiating with the immense pressure your presence puts on their own unmade choices. Rejection, then, is often the profound proof of your selection, not an evidence of any deficiency. The gate that is aggressively slammed in your face is sometimes a hidden gift heaven's way of rerouting you from a small, restrictive room to a high, wide embassy. Ambassadors do not waste time loitering in places where treaties and their authority are mocked. Step back, straighten your posture, and always remember this vital truth. Promotions from God often arrive disguised as exclusions from people. Your unwavering integrity is like a perfectly clear mirror that absolutely refuses to flatter. When that mirror is held up, some will see a life that needs immediate washing, and they may call the mirror cruel, but the mirror is not cruel. It is merely clear. This explains why nights can turn ice cold in a single afternoon. It explains why casual lunch invitations dry up and why eyes cut sideways. When you simply do the right thing without any need for commentary, your quiet diligence exposes shortcuts. Your powerful silence exposes hidden agendas. Your unwavering peace exposes the addictive nature of drama. These reactions are not an accurate measurement of your worth. They are simply weather reports of a storm you did not cause. Change how you read the forecast. When the air suddenly feels strange and the social temperature drops around your name, treat it as a systems alert, unseen warfare detected. Increase prayer covering. Lock down your schedule. Close the casual, unguarded doors and move as if hidden cameras are filming you, because in the spiritual realm, they absolutely are. This is why whisper campaigns and gossip feel so sticky and debilitating. Not because the words themselves are true, but because the assignment behind them seeks to glue doubt and insecurity to your clear identity. Resist the urge to aggressively defend yourself in every hallway, in every argument. Defense is a full-time, consuming job for those who have forgotten they already have the ultimate advocate. Your job is alignment. Speak with the certainty of a commander, not the nervousness of an applicant. Set your stance. I won't beg for rooms I outgrew. I carry peace. I won't trade it for approval. Say it again, slower, allowing your nervous system to absorb the truth. Watch what dramatically happens when you completely stop auditioning for people. Some doors that once pretended to be permanent, unmoving walls will quietly and unexpectedly swing open for you. Other doors will instantly reveal themselves to be trap stages leading nowhere. Let discernment, not loneliness, be the sole factor that chooses your table. Consider the examples you've seen. The coworker who smiled until ethical standards blocked their shortcut. Suddenly, you're difficult, not because you changed, but because their plan did. The neighbor who waved until your firm boundaries interrupted their gossip. Now you're cold, when in truth, you've simply chosen not to be a porch for parasites. The relative who loved your vulnerability until your healing stopped being entertaining. Now they try to guilt or rewind you back into the painful, old role you completely outgrew. In every single case, remember that it is not personal. It is always positional. Your life is a secure, sovereign embassy. Some spiritual passports simply won't scan at your border. Refuse the smuggling of old, harmful patterns across your clear boundary. Stamp denied on manipulation, on flattery that has a clear hook, and on invitations that will ultimately cost your clarity. When you must speak, keep it surgical. Few words, clean edges, and undeniable truth. People will project their discomfort when your integrity highlights their compromise. Yes, that is true. But they will also quietly reach for deep transformation when your stability offers them a reliable ladder to climb. This is the profound secret the enemy hopes you will miss, the exact same presence that agitates, also powerfully magnetizes. Hold your clear, unwavering line long enough, and the very ones who publicly mocked you will eventually come knocking, not to win, but to quietly learn. Remember this truth in your bones: Selection always creates separation. Before it can deliver celebration, a seed is selected for planting and then buried in isolation. A soldier is selected and then sent to the silent, solitary training range. A prophet is selected and then misunderstood by the very city they were sent to bless. Let the timeline of God do its perfect work. Keep your heart soft and compassionate, your boundaries firm, and your calendar holy. Refuse to be baited into the petty brawls that are strategically designed to stain your mantle. When the heat of conflict rises, drink cool water, not the gasoline of retaliation. Pray names, don't post them. Rejection is not exile. It is escort away from a counterfeit, temporary crown and toward the throne room where decisions are made about streets you haven't even walked on yet. Breathe now and articulate the line in the sand for your soul. I won't beg for rooms I outgrew. I carry peace. I won't trade it for approval. Let those words settle on your tongue like heavy, cold iron certain and sure, because the very moment you stop negotiating with lesser altars and lesser people, disruptive patterns immediately break. Watch closely for the signs. The one who has aggressively avoided you for weeks will suddenly need counsel they can't find on Google. The meeting that purposefully excluded you will quickly dissolve without your necessary stability. The neighbor who rolled their eyes at your quiet order will feel a deep tremor in their own house and suddenly remember the only steady voice on the entire block. And just when you settle into a comfortable, quiet silence, a soft, unexpected knock will come. It won't be loud or public, an invitation through a small side door you didn't even know existed. And what waits behind that door will ask you to choose between your fleeting comfort and your eternal calling, between being superficially liked for a moment and being profoundly useful for a generation. You are not being ignored. You are being incubated. Invisibility is often a divine strategy so precise that it feels like utter silence when it is, in reality, a powerful choreography. Seeds disappear beneath the surface, and the impatient call it death, but heaven simply calls it preparation. The darkness of the soil is a womb, not a tomb. Down where no applause can reach and no rumor can interfere, your roots are making a quiet, deep contract with depth. It's always roots before fruits. Public wheat without underground strength is a tree destined to snap in the very first storm. God hides you like a treasure under the earth, not to deny you the light, but to ensure that when the full light comes, you will not be ripped from the ground by the first gust of public attention. Overlooked isn't over. It is the protocol of protection. Obscurity is not a punishment. It is training with the volume turned down so you can hear the subtle instructions that will eventually save nations. The hidden season does not waste you. It simply edits you. It cuts the scenes that played well to crowds but would ultimately collapse under the weight of your destiny. You learn to love the long, quiet way. You learn to do the right thing when there is absolutely no audience, to feed your need for validation. You learn the quiet, slow mathematics of mastery. Small, faithful units, consistently multiplied by time, equals an authority that does not tremble when deeply challenged. Treat your hidden season as an intensive internship with heaven. Show up to your assignment daily, even if nobody is there to clock you in. Build your craft until excellence becomes pure muscle memory. Write until your sentences carry undeniable weight. Practice your skill until your delivery owns the air. Study the world until your eyes recognize every nuance. Rehearse your life until your spirit can speak without ever needing to yell. Build your prayer stamina until stillness stops feeling like an empty void and starts feeling like pure oxygen. Set watches in the night, 15 minutes here, 20 there, so your inner ear trains itself to discern the difference between chaotic anxiety and clear instruction. Guard your mornings like sacred ground. No aimless scrolling before scripture, no gossip before gratitude. Give your afternoons to the work that absolutely cannot be faked, the kind of work that turns sweat into skill and mastery. Give your evenings to honest review and intercession. What did I build today? What did I break? What did I bless? Keep short accounts with your own soul. Let humility and holy ambition become active allies. Humility says, I am not the source. Holy ambition says, but I am the conduit, and the voltage will be high. Let selfless service be your default operating system. Clean the unseen corner. Fix the small error no one would have noticed. Pray the prayer no one will ever hear. Destiny loves workers, not wanderers. Beware the counterfeit visibility that arrives too early. A platform offered by your own impatience is a trapdoor disguised with glitter. If you can be easily bought with applause, you can be just as easily sold with silence. Choose deep substance. Choose the long obedience. Choose to become heavy enough to hold what you have asked for. Here is the profound mystery that keeps hope alive. When your days blur together, and the world spreads assumptions about you, heaven is scheduling an announcement. There is a moment already plotted on the calendar when the very voices that said forgotten will have to learn a new word, summon. A letter is sealed with oil. A name is called in a room you didn't even know existed. An assignment is tailored to you, a perfect garment woven in the dark. You will step forward and realize your hiding was never a delay. It was a perfectly secured vault dot, and just as you reach for that letter, just as your fingers touch the warm wax, and you feel the clear imprint of the king's signet through the seal, everything behind you will shift. Soft footsteps you recognize, but cannot quite place, and a voice you haven't heard in years will speak your name with a sudden weight. That makes the room subtly tilt. There is a reason your past won't sit quietly in the attic. It isn't clutter. It's a toolkit. Your scars are not shameful stains to hide. They are maps etched into your skin, coordinates drawn by survival that tell a later traveler where the cliffs are, where the water runs, and where the ground looks solid but will swallow you whole. A fresh wound is loud and blinding, but a fully healed scar goes quiet and begins to instruct. It points, it warns, it powerfully blesses. That is why some people flinch when you testify. They aren't threatened by your vocabulary. They are threatened by the mirror it holds up to their own unaddressed fractures. A healed scar does not bleed. It instructs. Your story holds the keys that unlock prisons that arguments can't even locate. Keys speak a language that doors immediately understand. You carry those keys. Think of the moments you were sure would end you, the loss that emptied the room in your chest, the betrayal that made time taste metallic, the panicked nights where air felt impossibly expensive. You walked out with something the unbroken rarely possess, a profound wayfinding instinct, a map folded deep into your muscle memory. When you speak from that place, you don't just motivate people, you authorize them. You give them coordinates. Yet, the enemy desperately wants to shame you into silence, to convince you that your map is too messy or your handwriting is unworthy of a classroom. He knows what happens when you read from those pages. Cells are unlocking and hearts are being freed, even hearts you will never meet. So, here is your act of holy defiance. Put a hand over the place that once ached and declare in a steady voice that will not tremble for approval, "My story is my anointing." Let the words land like warm oil across the old cracks. Feel the shift as heaven endorses the very chapters you tried to rip out. Now, become strategic, because those keys must be wisely STWARDED. Share selectively who, when, and how much. Not every ear deserves access to your sacred data. Some listeners are simply tourists gathering souvenirs. Others are builders looking for blueprints. Ask yourself in real time, is this curiosity or is it hunger? Is this safe soil or a stage with trapdoors? Time your testimony like a farmer times the rain. To early drowns the seedlings. To late leaves the ground hard and cracked. As you share, convert your profound pain into simple, actionable patterns for others to build upon. Take your greatest wound and pull 3 living lessons from it, not catchy slogans, but actual systems. Maybe you learn that isolation doesn't heal, it hardens. So your first pattern is community before crisis. Maybe you learn that forgiving without clear boundaries is a revolving door. So your second pattern is mercy with architecture. Maybe you learn that your body keeps a faithful score. So your third pattern is rest as warfare. Then, choose one way, just one, to serve someone with one of those patterns this week. A simple call, a shared meal, a resource, or a prayer that names their exact storm. Notice the powerful alchemy that occurs when you do this. The very memory that once felt like a thief begins to repay you with high interest and authority, compassion, and crystal clarity. This is precisely why you must refuse the myth that healed means hidden. Healed means harnessed. The ancient art of kintsugi turns broken bowls into priceless heirlooms. By pouring gold into the cracks, your testimony does the same for your life. You become a vessel whose golden lines gleam exactly where you once split. When you choose to stand unashamedly in that glow, the accusations around you change shape. Some will say, "You're too dramatic." Others will whisper, "You're showing off." Smile gently. Drama performs for applause. Testimony performs surgery. You are not seeking claps. You are opening a ribcage to release breath and truth. Keep your tone surgical, precise, clean, and compassionate. In rooms addicted to vague inspiration, your necessary specificity will feel like lightning. Do not dilute it to be easily digestible. The captive you are assigned to will not be saved by sugar. They need a key turning firmly in a lock. And yes, a few people will retreat, not because you wounded them personally, but because truth just kissed an area they had vowed to keep emotionally numb. Bless their pace and keep your posture steady. The multitudes you will never meet are waiting for your voice to function, not to entertain. Tell the story without villainizing anyone. Center the hard-won lesson, not the wound. Protect all names, but ruthlessly expose all patterns. Keep God as the undeniable through line who wastes nothing and redeems absolutely everything. Watch how entire rooms change when the unashamed finally speak. Shoulders drop. Breath returns to the body. The shame spiral loses its spin. Someone will put their phone down for the first time all day and whisper, "Me too." That whisper is the sound of a lock fully surrendering. And while you may be tempted to think this is as far as it goes, pay attention to the atmosphere right now. How it thickens at the edges, like powerful weather rolling over a ridge. Do you feel it? Somewhere close, a story you haven't told yet is quietly waking up. A chapter you sealed away because the ink felt too dark is now starting to glow fiercely at the margins. And as the light climbs its letters, you realize this one isn't just a key for someone else. It's a master key. And the moment you decide whether to lift it will determine which hallway opens next. Warfare is not a rumor about you. It is a spiritual reconnaissance against you. It is the proof that your spiritual coordinates matter. The sheer intensity of the resistance you face often mirrors the exact magnitude of your calling. The bigger the bridge, the heavier the strategic wind. Trumpets are targeted by the enemy even before they sound because hell doesn't fear noise. It fears the signal that mobilizes armies of light. So, read the pushback properly when your days become oddly crowded with trivial fires. When sudden misunderstandings multiply like weeds, when deep fatigue arrives with no natural cause. You are not unlucky. You are strategic. Declare it now. I'm not under attack because I'm weak. I'm contested because I'm strategic. This is why shallow, distracting conflicts show up right before your deep, world-changing assignments. Friction is a diversion designed to spend all your focus in small skirmishes. So you miss the major war you were born to end. Hell fears your healing far more than it fears your noise. A healed person is a closed gate, a sealed breach, an ecosystem that no longer leaks authority. Hear this, rage can be loud and still be entirely powerless, but healed quiet changes entire rooms. Let's reposition now. First, authority. You were not placed on this earth to be subject to the weather. You were placed here to govern the weather. Speak to the very air around you with the calm of someone who owns the deed. Peace, be still here. Say it slowly again until your steady breath sets the metronome and the space is forced to obey. This is not mere theatrics. It is law. Atmospheres respond to regulated spirits. Second, boundaries. Not every knock on your door is a life or death emergency. Not every text message is a sacred covenant. Not every person's crisis qualifies for access to your essential oxygen. Chronic chaos is a thief who has stolen a spare key. Change the locks. Choose sacred hours where only your assignment is allowed to enter. No doom scrolling, no gossip. Guard your mornings like the main gates of a city and your evenings like an altar. Third, excellence must out-discipline distraction. Let the fruit of your hands answer every single critic. Skill is a powerful rebuttal. Consistency is an impenetrable shield. Give your work such uncompromising integrity that slander eventually gets bored and goes elsewhere. Excellence turns spiritual warfare into background noise, like the sound of rain on a roof you built to code. Fourth, intercession. Every great general has a radio. Choose to trusted people who pray with you weekly, not performers, not gossips, but soldiers who can hear God clearly under the static. Share targets, not theatrics. Pray names, strategies, and times. When one person weakens, the others lift. When one person hears, all align. Watch how disruptive patterns completely break when air support is scheduled, instead of sporadic and desperate. And when that familiar agitation tries to beat you into pettiness, stop. Step back and run the pre-planned play. Speak peace. Reinforce boundaries. Deliver excellence. Call the intercessors. You will feel the line hold steady. The wind of resistance will shout its loudest just before it completely gives up. And that final shout is your cue to go quieter still. Walk like a lighthouse in the storm. Beam steady, foundation anchored. You will notice something truly strange. The same mouths that mocked you will begin to measure their words around you. The same eyes that rolled will begin to quietly study your cadence. The same hands that built rumors will reach for your help when their own scaffolding collapses. Do not gloat. Govern. Remember, The battlefield is not a theater. It's a field where destinies sprout or starve. Keep your heart clean enough to bless the very ones who sharpen themselves on your name. Listen closely. Beneath the clatter of the world, there's a lower frequency rising, a powerful hum that wasn't there yesterday. Like power lines waking after a blackout. That is your confirmation. The trumpet you have carried quietly for so long is about to sound publicly. You feel it deep in your ribs, a countdown you didn't start. Then, without any warning, your phone lights up, an invitation stamped with a seal. You recognize a time-sensitive summons to a room where outcomes are decided. The message ends with one single line that makes your pulse steady and your eyes instantly sharpen. We've heard about the peace you carry. Can you bring it tonight? Walk the block like a king and hide it steady, unhurried, already crowned inside. Breathe and feel that truth settle deep into your bones. In one powerful breath, let the truth crystallize. You carry a mark. Your light exposes. Rejection reframes. Hidden seasons refined. Your story unlocks. Warfare validates. This is not mere theory. This is your identity. You were never built to chase rooms. You were built to change the weather. You don't audition. You announce. You don't plead for space. You presence. You don't owe an explanation for your flame to those who desperately prefer the dark. You simply lift your chin and let clarity speak without ever having to shout, "Hear me," and repeat it in your spirit until the walls of your home memorize your cadence. You are not a rumor. You are a reminder. Not a threat, but a signal marked, reserved, released. Again, short, sharp, sovereign. You are not a rumor. You are a reminder. Not a threat, but a signal marked, reserved, released. Now, receive this final prayer like refreshing rain. May your home, your street, and your name be utterly sealed in peace. May every room you enter align immediately to order. May all the hidden years pay you back in public honor. May the oil that found you in private guard you in public. May your boundaries be like strong gates, your words like precise instruments. May your every footsteps be an undeniable answer. May fear utterly lose your address. May favor find your door and set up a permanent residence. May heaven enforce your yes and extinguish your no. And now, rise. Shoulders back, breath slow, eyes clear. Walk like the map is already in your pocket and the signal has already gone out. Walk like a testimony with legs. Walk like tomorrow is already listening. If this word hit the center of your spirit, stamp it now. I am marked and I won't hide. Seal it. Then accept the 48-hour challenge. One act of quiet excellence. No announcement. No applause. Just fruit. Do it. Watch what shifts when you choose mastery over noise. Share this message with the one person you know who keeps dimming their light just to survive. Lift them, lead them, then hold the moment. Soft smile, light in your eyes, silence for due beats, because kings do not rush their benedictions. The moment you are done, your next step is waiting. Go in strength. Go in peace.